Tell me your name, age, major, and the school that you go to.
Sure. My name is Savannah Roach. I'm 21 years old. I study business and economics, and I go to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Tampa, Florida.
How would you describe Carolina? And when you respond, just know that my questions will get cut out so you can kind of rephrase the question and response.
Sure. When I think of UNC and Carolina, I definitely think of a really collaborative school. I think people are really eager to help each other out and to see, their classmates succeed. I think we also have a lot of school spirit, and that's seen both in our sports and in academics. There's a lot of school pride. And I think that we're a school of people who are trying to be more aware about the world around us, a really thoughtful school, and I think that is seen, both in our coursework and the kinds of classes that students elect to take, and then also in the kinds of conversations you can hear people having outside of the classroom, just amongst their friends.
Great. What is the best spot on Franklin?
I think the best spot on Franklin Street, well, a classic has to be Topo, after a game or even, during a game if you can't get tickets. But another favorite spot of mine is definitely right close by on Rosemary. I think watching the sunset up on True's porch you just can't beat it. It's amazing.
What is one of your favorite memories from your experience here as a student? Yeah, you can take as much time as you need.
Yeah. People always do the basketball games, winning those. I think that rushing Franklin was a classic memory. That was awesome. Freshman year after beating Duke, that was a great memory. But just another great memory is.
Okay, that was good. Just start as one of my favorite memories.
Sure. One of my favorite memories is definitely rushing Franklin after beating Duke. I think this is a classic answer that hopefully every Carolina student has one of those memories, but until you do it with your friends, you just, can't beat it.
Tell me a little bit about your experience in the business school.
Before I applied to the business school or got into the business school at Carolina, I definitely had a lot of concerns that it was going to be a really cutthroat environment and one that felt different than my experience on main campus. But for me, do you need to start over? Do I need to start over?
Yeah, sorry, just that question. I'm so sorry. I turned it on twice. Seriously, it's so chill.
Yeah. So before I applied to the business school or even started taking classes over there, I definitely had a preconceived notion that it was going to be a really competitive and even cutthroat environment. And so I was definitely apprehensive before I started taking classes. But my experience over there has really been incredible. I think that the quality of teaching, instruction, and also just care for the students has been phenomenal. I feel a lot closer to the professors than I ever thought I would. I feel like I know the career staff, the academic coaching staff, and they've definitely been there for me in every step of my personal and professional journey at Carolina. And I found that there really is a sense of community and collaboration on campus, in the business school in McCall. You'll come out of class and you'll go down to the cafeteria. You'll see friends, both from your grade, your classes, and then also older friends that are in maybe the MBA program. And there definitely is a sense that, you're all in there together, you're all excited about something, and you're, eager to share what you've learned along the way. And so that definitely was a really pleasant surprise and not what I expected at all.
What are some ways that you feel like you've taken advantage of the resources that UNC has to offer?
I think there are a couple big ways. One being to study abroad. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
So there are so many resources. There are so many resources at Carolina that I've been able to benefit from. I think a couple that come to mind are the study abroad resources, and then also the coaching staff that the university employs. So first study abroad, I got to study abroad through the economics department to study in Croatia for 5 weeks with Professor Balaban and look at the economy there and how sports and tourism play a role in economic development. And that was an incredible experience, both to encounter a new country with my UNC classmates, but also to meet new people while over there. And then another resource that I think I've really benefited from at Carolina has just been the professional staff that UNC and specifically Keenan Flagler employs. Those individuals that have guided me through the process of thinking about what I want to do with my career and then what those next steps are to realize those goals. Those people have been incredibly instrumental in the encouragement and support that they've given me along the way. And I definitely advise my friends that are, sophomores or first years who are in that exploratory phase to have those conversations with those professionals because they definitely care a lot about them and are sometimes a really underutilized resource.
Okay, what are you doing post-graduation?
After graduation, I'll be working in Charlotte, North Carolina as a business analyst with McKinsey. They're a global management consulting firm, and so my role there will be helping businesses and other organizations realize their strategic goals and do so. I don't actually know. I'll start over.
That was probably fine. I could probably
Okay,
get it, but
yeah.
Great. Okay. How has COVID affected your senior year?
COVID obviously has affected everyone's years, but for me personally as a senior, I think it's looked like really narrowing my circle of friends and thinking about who are the people that I see myself spending time with in the next couple years, after we graduate from Carolina. And I'm sure this is an experience that everyone has to think about at some point, but for many people it might be, the final month that they're here at Carolina in a normal year, they might start thinking, who am I going to see after graduation? But for those of us who have been, dealing with the pandemic and our senior year, I think we started thinking about that, even this summer. And so while we definitely haven't been able to do all of the big fun experiences that we classically associated with senior year, I think we're also being really intentional about making those impactful memories.
So how, this kind of goes hand in hand with that, how have you fought to have a meaningful senior year within the, constraints that you have?
Sure. I think, how to word your answer into. So some ways that some ways that my friends and I have decided to make the most of our senior year in spite of COVID. A couple ways have been within my house. I live with a couple other college students, and we've been really intentional about making our nights in fun and kind of creating a culture around that. We have PowerPoint nights in which we, share about random topics, and these are moments I think that normally we could have all gone to our separate bedrooms and just watched our TV shows, but we've been intentional about spending that time together since we are kind of acting like a family in this time. And then I think that with those people that you don't get to see very often, even those one interactions that you're able to have with them safely, those mean a lot more. I think the conversations are a lot deeper than maybe they would have been otherwise if you were just passing them on campus in a normal semester, saying hi, but not really getting to catch up with them in the same way.
And then finally, what are you most proud of going to Carolina for?
What do you mean?
Sure. When you tell people that, in the future you'll be saying that you're a graduate of UNC, what makes you most proud that you're going to be an alum of this particular university?
Yeah. I'm really proud to be a Carolina student and to be a Tar Heel because of the culture that I talked about earlier. I think that I can take that out if you don't want me to say it like that.
It doesn't matter.
Do it again. I'm really proud to be a Tar Heel and a Carolina student because of the culture that I think people associate with Carolina. I think that we have a lot to be proud of in terms of our reputation and our academic rigor. But really, when you talk to a student from Carolina, I think that by and large, you're going to interact with someone who's really humble, who's really motivated, and who wants to make a difference in the world. And so being able to be a part of that legacy is really exciting to me, and I think that is a privilege I'll get to carry with me for forever.
Perfect. Do you have any final thoughts about anything that you want to add that I didn't ask directly?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.